Hey guys, today we'll just be continuing with the C programming tutorial, so we're just going to be working with strings again. So this video is just to help you guys understand strings a bit more using character arrays. So we'll just start with we'll just do a few examples, so it's not any long coding process. So we'll just start with this code. So we'll just include the standard header file. And then after that, we'll move on to functions. So here we'll just have the main function here. And we'll declare a character C and a character array named sentence. Actually, we can call it just str and initialize it to 20 elements. Here we'll initialize a variable I and set it equal to 0. Here we'll have a while loop, and we'll say C points to getchar. So while C points to getchar and does not equal to a new line, and we'll say str array of I++ points to C. And we'll say str of array index I points to null. So we can signal null with /0. And here we'll just say printf input string is %s for the string modifier, new line, comma, and then we'll just pass an str here. Save that, and then we'll put a breakpoint here and here, and then just run it in the debugger. So just a reminder that this I++ will be incrementing the variable after, so not before. So it's going to take the value as I as it is and then increment it after by 1. So it'll add 1 to it after. Oh, whoops, sorry, there's an error here, so let me just fix that. So we'll str of array index I++ points to C. Missing str. We have our str array here. Okay, I think it's these brackets here. Okay, sorry, there's a typo in my text, so that should be fine. Just save that and then run that in the debugger. Okay, at the bottom we can see our local variables. So right now we just have our variable C, and you can see our variable str array. And again, the index of 20, so all the values are just garbage values. So int I points to 0. We'll step over that. We can see that I was initialized to 0. So here we're going to loop through and say while C points to getchar is not equal to new line. So we're going to get input from standard input. So if you step in, it's going to wait for something to be inputted. So for a string, So we can just type in like string, or let's just say actually something not too long. So we'll just say maybe we'll just say pass, like for password. Then we'll hit enter. So while C points to getchar does not equal to new line. So it might be handy just to keep the ASCII table up just to check if you need to reference any of the characters. So again, my output screen, you won't be able to see it because it's external, so you can just enter, I entered PASS and hit enter, and now we've moved on to the next line, so str of array index I plus plus points to C. So right now I is equal to 0, so str of 0 points to C. And we can see that str points to 1. Array of index 0 points to 1. Then now we're at while C points to getchar does not equal EOF. Again, it's going to get the next input. The next input from our from our standard inputs, we inputted PASS. Yeah, so I have run an external console, so if you guys can see that, that's why you can't see the output on the screen. It's in an external window. That way you can use the commands as well. So now str of array index I plus plus points to C. So the next array index got filled with a value. Then now we've moved back to the top. For some reason it's only collecting ones. So it should be collecting the value itself. Might be a glitch with this C line itself. Because we have our character C here, and str of array index 20. Int I points to 0, while C points to getchar does not equal new line. So int I equals to 0 while C points to get. I think maybe something to do with these this bracket. Maybe there should be a bracket here. Let me just try to fix that, sorry. And it's saying there's a typo. I think there's a typo in, okay, there's a typo in my, apologize, in my notes. My professor typed all this stuff wrong, so I apologize. So let's just rerun that. Okay, so we'll just step over that. While C points to getchar, step in. Okay, so we'll enter PASS again. Hopefully it gets the values of P. Okay, there you go. There's a typo. That's probably why the other code didn't work either. Because there's a glitch. So I typed in O, so let's just hit stop. Hit the debug icon. I'll just type again. Oh, sorry, so we'll step over that. So this line, step into that one. And here we'll say PASS, hit enter. Now we can see that C points to the value P. Okay, so the str array index of I++ will point to C. So right now it's going to take the value as it is, as I said, so I is equal to 0. So the str array of index 0 will point to C, and C points to the character P. So step into that. So if we see str, now go to array index 0, we can see that the character P is being stored. And additionally, if we go to the ASCII table, ASCII table, you can get that on Wikipedia or on asciitable.com. If you go down to lowercase p under HTML, you can see that the value should be 112 in the decimal, 70 for hexadecimal and 160 for octal. We don't need those, so we just need 112 for decimal. And the HTML is p, so that's just lowercase p and has a value of 112. And in the local variables, you guys can see that here it says 112, which is equal to the character p. So remember, getchar, it gets one character at a time, and it's going to continue to get all characters, and at the end there's a new line. So I'll just write that out for you guys here. So getchar gets one character at a time, and then at the end of the string there is a new line character. So it's just going to signal a new line, so that should be on the table as well. So after we got P, then we loop back up to the top. Then if we step in, C should point to A because our string was PASS. So str of array index I++, so before I was 0, so I++ is I plus 1. So now it's str of array index 1 points to C. So that should be str of array index 1 will point to A. And we can double check that here by just checking our local variable str. Array index 1 now points to A. And the rest of these values are just garbage values. So now we've looped back to the top. If we step in, then now it's going to collect S. So now C, the variable C points to the character S, which has a value of 115. So str of array index I++ will point to C. So right now I is 2. So str of array index I, which is 2, will point to C, which is the character S, which has a value of 115. So now we've looped back to the top, and then it's going to check the condition while C points to getchar. The getchar function does not equal to new line. So the string still hasn't reached the new line yet. It has another character to collect. So if we step into the loop again, we can see that C points to S again because we had PASS. So this is the fourth value, the fourth index 3 of the string, so 0, 1, 2, 3. So we can see str of array index I++, so I is 3, points to C. So just remember that I will increment after we execute this line. So str array of index 3 will point to S. We can check that after we execute that to see 0, 1, 2, 3. So we have PASS. Index 0 is P, index 1 is A, and index 2 is S, index 3 is S. So now we should have a new line. So since C points, so in the getchar function, it collected our input. So after we had PASS, so we had the string PASS. And at the end of the string, remember, we had a new line. So to denote the termination of the string, there's always an invisible new line at the end. So now we have str of array index I, which is I is equal to 4. So str of array index I, which is 4, points to null. So what is that saying? So we have our str array. Index 0 is P, index 0 is P, index 1 is A, index 2 is S, index 3 is S, index 4 we're setting because I is equal to 4. So we're saying str of array index 4 points to null. So null is on the ASCII table. Null is /0. So we're saying store a null at the end of the array to show that the string is finished. Then here we'll just print out to the screen that the input string is, and then we pass in str. Which is basically the whole array. So if you guys can see on your output, it says input string is PASS. Because remember, str was our whole the whole string. So we're just passing. You can just print out basically the whole array, the whole character array without looping through. So that's what happened here. So now we'll just move on to the next code. Hope you guys understand that. It's not too complicated. Just working with arrays again. So we'll just go over the so this is command line arguments. We haven't really talked about them yet. Actually, maybe we'll do that after. So we'll go over a few more string functions. So I'll just erase all this for you guys. Then we'll just restart. So we'll stop the debugging process, hit the stop button. So we'll hashtag include String.h and hashtag include stdio.h as a standard header file. And we're going to need String.h for those functions, for those string functions that we're going to work with. So here we'll just have a character array. We'll just call it S1. 20 elements. Points to the string HAPPY. Then we'll say here char S2. We'll just have it as an empty array. Points to new year, string new year. Just for practice. We'll have your character array S3. We'll just initialize that 1 to 30. Then here we'll print out, we'll say printf, %s, %s new line. So what we're doing here is we're using our format modifiers %s to pass in the value of the string s1 and s2. Then we'll call printf again. We'll have the string, we'll have the string strcat, s1 comma s2 equals %s new line, and then here we'll have comma and then strcat. We'll pass in s1 and s2. So we'll go over what the function does in a second. And here we'll do the same. So we'll say printf strn, so strncat. We'll pass in s3, s1, and 6, the value 6. We'll close the parentheses, and then we'll say points to the format modifier %s, and then // n for new line, and then we'll pass the function strncat, pass in s3 as parameters, s1, and the value 6 again. Then finally at the end we'll just return 0 to satisfy the oh whoops, I didn't write the main function, so we'll just satisfy the int main here at top. Type is an int, so that's why we satisfy by returning 0. And I'll pass in void as the function parameters. Alright, so hopefully there's no typos. We'll just save that and then start debugging it. We'll just put a breakpoint, few breakpoints here. Okay, so here we can see in our local variables. Oh, whoops, sorry, we'll just restart that. It looks like it already kind of knows that we inputted some stuff, probably at compile time. So we'll just step over this line. So we're initializing a character array s1 to 20 elements. And it points to the string happy. So we can see that our s1 array is storing the value h in index 0, a in index 1, p in index 2, p in index 3, y in index 4. Remember we have that new line at the end. Actually, sorry, I think we have a null at the end. And then we have our character array s2, which is an empty array, pointing to the string new year. So if we click on our local variables s2, then we can see we have the string new space year, index 0, 1, 2, 3, which is new, and then space is index 3, and then index 4 to 8, index 4 to 7 we have year. So just the same idea. So since our third array was not initialized, it just skipped. It didn't need to execute that line. excuse me. So now we have our printf. We have our printf line here, so it's going to execute. So all that's going to happen is that it's going to print out S1 and S2 using the format modifiers that were passed. So if we hit, if we hit the step over button, we can see that in the output. So it says the whole string. S1 and S2 was outputted. So now we're going to execute the line with the strcat function. So what does strcat do? So the strcat function concatenates, or it joins two strings, it connects them together. The function is stored in the header file, String.h. So the strcat arguments are the parameters. Strcat, the function takes two arguments or parameters, the destination string and the source string. So the S1 was the destination string, and the S2 was the source string. So the strcat function concatenates the destination string and the source string, and the result is stored in the destination string. So if you guys understand, we'll just see what happens here. So we have printf. We have the string itself, showing that we're concatenating the two strings together. Then we're using our %s modifier to pass in the function. So we're passing in this whole function with %s. So if we execute the line, it's going to print that out. So you can see that it concatenated, or connected the two strings together. And at the top, we printed them out separately. Now where they're together, you can see the space is missing. And then for the last print statement, we have strncat. So it's a different function. Excuse me. So the C library function strncat appends the string pointed to by src to the end of the string pointed to by the destination up to n characters long. So it should concatenate the two strings, but it's going to select the number of characters you want to connect. So the parameters dest this is the pointer to the destination array, which should contain a C string and should be large enough to contain the concatenated resulting string, which includes additional null character. So remember, at the end of our character array, we should have a null value, an invisible null, which is different than getchar, which has a new line and then a null. So src, this is a string to be appended, and n is the maximum number of characters to be appended. So the return value is the function returns a pointer to the resulting string destination. So here we're passing the parameters S3 for our destination, the source is S1, and the count is 6. So in S1 we have HAPPY, so 0, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters. And remember, at the end we have a null character, so it's, I believe it's saying that you have to have enough room for the null character too. So that's why it wants +1 on the end of your string. So if we print that out, It prints out. Whoops. Did it glitch out? I think it did glitch out. Unless I pressed something wrong, sorry, so I'll just re-debug that. So we'll just skip to this last line. Okay, so it says strncat parentheses s3 comma s1 comma 6, which is happy, and then n. So 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it took n as the last value and then had a null at the end of that. So hopefully you guys understood the tutorial today. So if you guys like the video, you can subscribe for more programming videos, for free programming tutorials, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.